Okay, this is just a clarification of Strange Happening 53. I was way excited when I made that video, so it didn't make sense. And there was a commenter that put a comment in there. Like, what do you mean, just like you? Boy, that commenter was right, because I went and rewatched the video and it made no sense hardly. What's going on? Just like me, what does it mean? What it was is the video my wife picked was this lady talking about. She called them the clairs, clairvoyant, clair audio, and there were several others. It's like all the senses kind of thing, hearing, smell, sight, and some other stuff. But just about on every one of those, when she was talking about, say, clairvoyance, my wife went, "That's you, that's you." And then she went into another topic of clairaudio with the hearing, and my wife was like, "That's you, that's you." And that's what got me so excited on that last video is somebody's like me, because this lady seems to do the same thing, but it seems like mine's to a bigger extent. The clairvoyance thing, I put a video out there called Seeing Through Walls, and I didn't know how to explain it really well, clairvoyance kind of stuff. It's not x-ray vision, seeing through walls. It's seeing somewhere else, seeing another place, that kind of thing. And for me, this is all the time. It doesn't stop. It's not random. It doesn't just kick in every now and then. It's all the time. Even driving back today, I'm here back at the city. So I wanted to make this video before I just totally crashed tired. But driving down the road is seeing two places at once. I mentioned in my Seeing Through Walls video that in order for me to have a normal life, I have to put up a barrier. I use a landscape barrier. But this is all the time. Even when I had my wisdom teeth pulled back in Arlington, Texas, a friend took me to the dentist, and coming out, and you always have that gas and you're loopy and everything. And the problem with me is my awareness slipped, and it was like I was walking on my knees because my feet were below the pavement. And that was the whole time. And I told my friend I'm walking on my knees. And that's what it was like. Sometimes, and I mentioned another video about Sam's. I felt like I was being pulled through, because there's times that even just walking on the ground doesn't feel solid. It's like it's fragile. I could break it and fall through. I'm just glad that the tires on the truck stay on the road and don't fall through. And my regular eyes are seeing everything normal like everybody else does, but my mind is also seeing something else. And it's all the time with a flat surface. Now, if it's rough texture and things like that, it's fine. It's not a problem. But if it's a flat surface, then it happens constantly. It's nonstop. It never stops. So apparently, when she was talking about that, she went into some detail, and it's like, that's exactly it. I just called it Seeing Through Walls. But that's exactly it. This clairvoyance kind of thing. Another one was the clairaudio, hearing things that aren't in the room or aren't there, and that's me also. She goes into where she hears a single sound, and for me, sometimes it's entire people's conversations. And another commenter, he makes some really good points. That this is normal brain activity when you're going to sleep, you're processing, the brain's an enigma. And absolutely correct. Yeah. The problem with me is I'm not always asleep when this is happening. I'm going to sleep, trying to get to sleep, and this stuff starts happening, and then it doesn't shut off. Like when I mentioned the having to disassociate myself from the people wailing on the riverbank because people were drowning, that sort of thing. I mean, I was awake, and I'm asking my wife, "Can you not hear this? Do you not hear this going on?" And she didn't hear any of it, or the conversations, or the music, and I will be awake and ask my wife. For the wailing part, I actually got up and went out and searched the house to see if there's somebody outside. So this was going on while I'm awake. It starts happening as I'm falling asleep, but then I'll wake up and it's still happening. I'm still hearing it. The typical common thing is someone knocking on a door. That's happened a lot. And that will wake me up. And that's probably more of the brain just trying to get to sleep, the enigma kind of thing. It sounds like someone's knocking at a door, and there have been many times I've got up to go check and see if someone's at the door, and there's never anybody there. But it's like someone knocking on a door. And that's my typical thing for sound. And that's probably just me trying to get sleep and brain's processing or whatever. That's probably normal stuff. There are the other senses too as well that she went on, but every one of my wife was going, "That's you. That is you." And so I guess this is some people are like this, apparently, and that's what made me feel not so alone, because he was talking about it. It's just, mine's a little different, and that's what makes me crazy. Makes me think I'm crazy, and I'm not, but it's pretty out there. Another one that she talked about, I mentioned in the last video, I think in the comments somewhere, that one of the videos I want to watch next was telepathy, because I have one out there, strange happening, called telepathy shrug. I don't know what it is. I don't hear words. I see pictures. And then she talked about a little bit about, how if you're really married to someone and you're really close to someone, you kind of know what they might want for dinner, and then you go pick it up. Well, me and my wife do that constantly. I can go pick up something, and before she gets home, it's like I know what she's hungry for, and she knows what I'm hungry for, and we just talk and mention it. So we're the same person almost, seems like. But for the telepathy, and that's what she's talking about, telepathy, you kind of know what the other person is. Well, with me, it's a little different. And she, in another video I watched, she's talking about boundaries, how to keep boundaries between yourself and other people so you don't lose yourself, your identity, or something like that, something weird like that. But I never had anybody to tell me that early. So during my trial and error phase, I didn't keep boundaries. I still don't keep boundaries. It's almost like I lose myself, and it's like I become the other person almost. So when I talk about in the telepathy one, just looking at a person in a grocery store, this person, that person, it's almost like I become them for a second or two, and feel their hands on the rail for the shopping cart, feel it. It's like almost like I become them for a second, and then what they're thinking flashes in my head, and that's how my telepathy kind of thing works. So it's almost like I become the other person, which oddly enough goes right along with my name that I got, just me. It's just me, and I'm just them. It's odd because I become that person for a second, and it's really weird. So that's how mine works, because I didn't realize maybe you should be putting up boundaries, and so you don't lose yourself, but I lose myself, and I didn't do that because I was just trial and error, didn't know how to do any of this stuff. So I lose myself and become the other person for a second, and that's when I see in their heads a lot. Another interesting one, I have so many questions about this, and a lot of questions. And so I'm still learning, and I have a lot of questions. She talked about her haunted house and how there can be portals for these entities to come through, these spirits, and it affects things in our reality. And it's a portal, and it's stuck to a location, maybe a house. And that's probably maybe what happened with ours at the little haunted house we had, white boards with red shutter house. When I was a little kid, in the room we stayed in, I guess it was a portal right where I was sleeping. But that brought up another question is, I don't know. I just don't know. Is it possible for a person to be a portal? Is it possible? Because I didn't put in this haunted house videos. I put it in the description, but when we're over at Mom would drop us off at a babysitter's house for the haunted house when we were little, little kids. And strange things would happen at the babysitter's house when we were there too. Even things moving across a flat surface and things when we were there. So it's like, is it possible for a person to be a portal? I talked about showing entities the way home, and how I took them into myself and to show them their true self, melt away the darkness, and show the true positive side, and then redirect them somewhere else. And I'm like, really? Is that like a portal thing? Is it possible for a person to be a portal? I don't know anything about that. I don't know. It's just a thought that, after I saw the video, I was like, that's so weird. So I have a lot of questions still. I'm still learning. But she was talking about for that other video, and I was so excited. It was all about the psychic senses and the psychic things, which mine seem to be just turned on to a pretty high level. And that's why I thought I was crazy, and I wanted to hide and not let people know this side of me, because it is so far out there, and it's constant. It doesn't stop. So that's what I'm talking about. So the seeing through walls is not x-ray vision, it's clairvoyance kind of thing. So that was the questions I had. Video's already really long. I'm going to upload another video right after this for Country Boy. I tried uploading stuff down at the Pink House this weekend. Impossible. The signal was too weak, and that's why there's such a big gap sometimes in these videos. It's like I can't get a signal. It's so remote. And that's what happened again. So I will upload another Country Boy video right after that, after this. So Thanks, and I hope I don't sound too crazy, but I don't know that I'm crazy anymore. So it's a nice positive thing.